Are you ready?
He's recording.
Oh yeah.
YouTube.
Hi.
Hi, YouTube.
Am I famous yet?
Hey, YouTube doesn't love you.
That means just congratulations.
0.
We covered a bunch of stuff about functions earlier. We didn't do these two things. Those are the two things we're going to learn today. Composition of functions and inverse functions. Inverse functions. You ready, Manny?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the app for me.
You what, a who?
When should we get the app for me? Like tomorrow.
Oh, don't worry about the app right now. Yeah. Hey, you know what makes my heart flutter? You know what makes my heart flutter? Anorrhythmia.
It's not a disease, but it's like a...
It's like an irregular heartbeat. Like you get like it won't be all did it. Every once in a while, I'll have like an extra beat in there, like yeah. All right. Now listen. Shh. Focus. Focus. The hard part about this is not the math; it's the notation. But the notation that's the instructions, like the way it's written. So Bridget, on your quiz or your test, if you don't know what the notation means, I cannot tell you. You have to be able to read it. Okay? So, like in the United States, composition of functions is written one way, and in England, like on the Cambridge test, it's written a different way. I know. You have to know both. It's easy though. George, do you know how, like, if you have a function, I don't know, let's do x squared plus x minus, I don't know, what number, Diego?
6. Are we going to do this?
Fifth, thank you, sir. Finally. Some bravery.
Are we going to do this one?
What? I don't know. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Turn your page right
Now,
now.
do you know how, like, the notation works? Like, if you want to evaluate this function for some number, you just rewrite it. So, like, if I wanted to plug in a 0, wait, if I plug in a 0, what am I finding?
The y-intercept.
Y-intercept. So you know how it would be like this? You would replace all of the x's you see with a 0, and then you would just simplify it, right? Okay. And you can plug anything you want in here. You can plug in, well, I don't know, Kanye West. And you'd get Kanye squared plus Kanye. Oh wait, you know, this is redundant. We already plugged in a 0.
How much money he has in his bank account.
Ooh, no, that's negative. That's negative. Yeah. Yeah, he made a GoFundMe thing
Yeah, he asked
For-
for a loan from Mark Zuckerberg.
for $53 million or something silly.
Did you see him roll?
All right,
For $1 billion.
focus,
I don't think he's going to give
focus, focus. All right,
a jerk.
all right. Stay with us. Here. Here's the point. Ready? Here's the idea. This is what's going to get confusing in a minute. You can plug anything into a function for x that you want, provided that, you know, like, it's all real numbers or whatever. So we could actually have another function like this, and we could actually plug in this function into f. So we could do it like this right here. You could actually plug in the function g of x into the function f. Oh yeah. That's pretty fancy right there, I know. So, Mitchell, this is what it would look like. This isn't what I would normally write, but I'm writing it this way to try to make it clear, like, everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with g of x. This part I'm writing right here, I normally would not write. I want to usually write this. You know what I'd write instead?
X plus 4.
Yeah, I'd write x plus 4. So I would do x plus 4, a square. Like in Spanish, in my head, that's how you should say a square. Yeah, a square. That's how you should say squared. A square. All right. So this would be that. And then to simplify it, you know, you just square it and combine like terms, whatever. Don't kill a kitten right here. That's not x squared plus 16, right, Sam? It's x squared plus 8x plus 16, right? All right. So from here, I'm not going to do the math right now, but you would square this, add everything together, and simplify it, right? That part's not hard. The part you get confused by is how this is written. In the good old US of A, in America, we write it like this. That's an open circle. Yeah.
Okay, calculators.
But it's not an O. It's just it's not a solid dot. It's a little open circle, and it means that you take this second letter here, this second function, you plug it into the first. That's what it means. It means this. So these mean the same. Okay? So when you see this, you have to understand that it means this. That's what the instructions will say. It's going to have the word evaluate and then that. And you have to do it. And if you don't know what that means, then you're in trouble. So that's what you need to write down, that this means the same thing as that. Whoa, calm down, Anna. Yes, Lauren?
So how would we write it on a test? Would we write it like,
No, this will be written.
no, but like what would we have to write?
This. And then you do the math, though. This wouldn't be your final answer.
Oh,
But
so it would have other.
Oso's a bear. Yeah, but you'll have like what the function f is and what the function g is, and you'll just plug
My
them
new question is, why do you want
in.
the children to
Okay. Hold on 1 second, Sam. This is different. Because this one you would take the function f and plug it in g. You take the second function and plug it in the first.
And for the other one, you take the first function and plug it in.
No, you take the second function, plug it in the first. Always. So 1 second, Isaac. Sam, what was your question?
The green one is how you write it in ink.
No.
Oh. The orange one is how you write it.
No, I haven't shown you yet.
I have a question.
Yes, Melanie.
Is this composition of
Composition of functions.
Okay. It's like a step.
Isaac, what's your question?
It's not a.
What you just showed us was like the English.
No, I haven't shown you the way they do it in Britain yet.
What about then? What about the United States?
This is the way it's written in the United States. The math is the same either way, but the instructions are written differently. So just hold on. Here, watch. In England, this is what the instructions will say. They're just written right beside each other. There's no dot. It does not mean multiply. This means composition. All three of these things all mean the same thing. They mean take the second one that's written and plug it in the first. Yes. I don't know where over there is. Like here? Oh, this one.
Then the F would be next to the X, right? You'd be writing
So, like, if it was written in England, it would be written this way. And it means this. That you take the function f, and that's what you plug in to the function g. Yeah. Yes, Isaac.
So which way would we write out the test?
What?
Which way would we write out?
No. Why, I don't know why you guys are asking that question. This is crazy. These are the instructions. Do you write the instructions?
Also, it's gonna tell us.
Oso's a bear.
It's gonna tell us.
Yes, the instructions will say, all right. Oh my gosh. Mira,
Put it back.
calm down. Watch.
Please.
Just relax.
That guy just pointing is rude.
No, let's not do that. Yeah, let's do that. That's like why you don't write in pen. It's not a zero. It's supposed to be a nothing. Like your picture got scratched out in the yearbook. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I like X.
Okay. So your instructions might say, it might be written like, let's see here, we'll do it over here. Evaluate, and then, whoa, gravity. A would be, oh no, G of 0. B might be F of negative 3. C might be D might be and E might be state the domain for
Is B negative 3?
That's a lot. How many points would that be worth?
5.
Oh god.
Can we actually do it?
Wait, let's not do it yet, because I want to make sure we have enough time to get everything we got to get. Everything on here so far, except for part C, is old.
Yeah.
Like, you should know how to do all of those, except for part C. That's the only thing that's new. So what would you do here?
Plug in 0 for G.
And what would you get? So, negative 5. That would probably be worth 1 point. It's super easy. Okay, what would you do here? Okay, so that would be 9, 18, minus 3 is 15, minus 1 is 4. Is that 14?
Yeah.
I mean, I did that really fast. That's probably worth 1 point. I might be wrong. Did I get it right? If it was me taking a test, I would actually write it out. I wouldn't do it in my head. All right, this one's the new one. We're going to do that one. What would you do here? Multiply the 2, right? That's it. And what about this, though? State the domain for f divided by g. Not what? State the domain for f of x divided by g of x.
Well, whatever will make the denominator 0, that's the only number.
Exactly. Melanie, that's why you're my favorite student. Melanie just said that she likes wearing flannel.
No.
Oh, never mind. She just said that this is easy. All you have to do is figure out what would make the denominator for this equal to 0, and that's the number that's not in the domain. So it's going to be all numbers except what? Five. Five.
Because if you plug in 5 for x, it looks at 0.
Right. Because I'm not going to write it out right now, but this whole thing would be this divided by that. Right? The number that would make this equal 0 is 5. You could write it out equals 0. You could write like x minus 5 equals 0. You could solve it. That's the number x cannot be. So Michelle, you shouldn't be texting me right now. It's creepy. All numbers except 5. That would be the domain. We good, Sam? Yeah.
How many points down?
That's probably worth 1 point also. Yeah. This is probably worth 2 points. And this is probably worth probably 2 points too. Let's do that one. You ready? This one, you take the function f and you plug it in into. So you take this whole thing right here, and you plug it in right there. You plug it in right there. So this one's really easy. It's 2x squared plus x minus 1 minus 5. Do you see how I did that? Do you see how I just took x and I substituted the entire function f right there? So it would be 2x squared plus x minus 6. Yeah, it's not hard. Hmm?
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you just combine it.
I see what you mean.
That's it. Also is a bear.
What would we
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
what would we
Oh, that's good.
The 2x squared plus x minus 1, like next to like g, like that equal g.
You could just do this right here.
Like,
You're substituting that function for x.
yeah, but when we write it,
You write it just like this. That's it. That's your
no,
work.
I mean like put g and then like parentheses.
Oh, if it would make you happy, you just go right on ahead. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Questions so far? What if I said this? Oh, that's a fancy L. Look at that.
Oh
Dang.
my god.
Woo!
I've never seen such pretty writing that you've done.
Circle that.
Why would you?
What if I said that?
I would cry.
What? Oh, okay.
Then you plug all of it.
So what would you? And then it said this.
What's K equal? Well, what's K? What's the equation for K?
You would plug in what, Manny? Talk to me, Goose. Oh, here.
You plug in f to the function of g.
Wait. That's what I did here.
You do the opposite.
Wait, is this the same as this?
No, you do the opposite.
Oh,
G,
yeah,
you plug
sorry.
in.
Yeah. So you would take this and plug it in for x here and here.
Then would you solve for x and then plug in x to that? Or am I overdoing it?
Is that K?
Hold on, let's take a look. So that's what k of x is going to equal. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, I just took g and plugged it in. Okay, what's x minus 5 squared? Leslie, what's x minus 5 squared?
X squared plus 25.
Ooh, you just killed a kitten. It is not x squared plus 25. What is it, Miguel?
X squared minus 10x plus 25.
Plus 25? Is it plus 25 or minus 25?
Plus.
Okay. Plus x minus 6. Is that okay? How I did that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Now what? Distribute. Right? So this is what k of x equals. So distribute. So 2x squared minus 20x más 50 plus x minus 6. And then what? Yeah, do that thing that begins with a C and ends with unbind-like terms. Right, Marcella? Yeah. So that was going to be, so k of x equals 2x squared minus 19x plus 44. 1 second, Sam. I'll get to your question in just a moment. You guys see how that worked? Is that anything you don't know how to do? It's not anything you don't know how to do. You definitely know how to do all of that. Now, could you graph that? What would be the first thing you would try?
Y-intercept.
Okay, you'd find the y-intercept for sure, which is 44. Would you try factoring? Yes, of course you would. Right? If not, then what would you have to do? Quadratic formula. What about the vertex?
Negative b over 2.
Oh yeah, this is a really ugly one. I would not give you one that ugly on a test. This one would be really just difficult. What was your question, Sam?
Why is x minus 6 not in the parentheses?
Because I'm just adding it. I don't need parentheses around that. Would it? Okay. Are you happy? Did that change anything?
No, but why isn't it in the same parentheses?
Oh, it's here?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's a good question, because you see how 2 is multiplying by this? And you see how this equals, I have to multiply it by 2 before, distribute before I can add. I have to multiply before I can add. PEMDAS. Yeah. All right. So we're good?
You should give us
We should try one.
problems.
You have problems. Woo! It's like Burn Isaac Day today. Isn't it?
You hear him earlier when he said United States really weird.
Who?
Isaac, he said United States like really weird.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear it.
If I can hear it.
Yeah, UN United States. That's how he said it. UN.
The hard thing about this is the notation also. The math itself isn't hard. And the problem we just did, I just made it up off of the top of my head, so of course the numbers turned out ugly. But on your quiz tomorrow, they turn out a lot prettier. It's easier.
Are we gonna use the calculator?
Whoa. I was just bombarded with questions right there. Did you hear that? Whoa. And I could hear neither of them. Yes, ma'am.
Can we use the calculator?
Yes, tomorrow you get to use the calculator. Oh, and Jackie, what was your question?
This is gonna be on the quiz.
Is what?
This is gonna be on the quiz tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
Wait, this right here?
Yeah.
No, why?
Booger in your eye, that's why.
Oh my god.
Call the ambulance. Come on, Michelle. You got this. Don't be... Look, you're like Cam Newtoning it right now.
Hey, this problem was a while ago.
You're just like giving up. Come on. All right. Check this out. Inverse means opposite, correct? Means backwards, like everything's like undone. So, like if I had a function like this, x plus 4, what would be the opposite? Like what's the operation this function does? Let's talk about that first. What's the operation, Emily, that this function does to x? Doesn't it just add 4 to it? Right. Thank you. Inverse functions do the opposite. So Daniel, what would be the opposite? Subtraction. So the opposite of this function, the inverse of this function, would be x minus 4. Right? Here's how you write inverse function. Not an exponent. That's what it means right there. That in this, when you have the name of a function, you have a -1 that's written as it's called a superscript, not an exponent.
What does it do?
It means inverse.
What, like, what?
How would you know that's the next one?
These are inverse of each other. They do the opposite. Like, well, I don't know. Gabe, what if I plugged in 5 to this function right here? What is f of 5? 9. What if I take a 9 and I plug it into the inverse? What do I get? 5. What if I plug in a 0 to f? What do I get? Tell me, somebody, anybody. 4. What if I take the inverse and I plug in 4? What do I get? 0. They undo one another. What if I took the inverse and I plugged in 0? What would I get? Sound off. Let's hear it. What do you got? Hit me with it. Do you guys agree with him? Okay. What if I took a -4 and I plugged that into the function f? 0. Yes, sir.
So let's say you graph fx, right, and it goes up, and if you graph
No.
I'm just okay, yes, that.
You were saying a parabola. You were like,
My bad.
yeah.
How would the other one be?
It'll go down.
Like, would it be because of the -1?
Well, x minus 4, right? Be like the same thing, except it would be like that. I mean, that's just a sketch, right?
But what if it was a parabola?
What if?
Like, what if it was a parabola and it was going up and
Oh man, it would look. You don't even want to know. It would look like this, and then it would look like this.
Why?
Yeah, put it back. I know who it belongs to. Okay. Now,
This is a long use.
well, it's class. I mean, it's the whole thing.
25 minutes.
Okay, boys and girls. What are the operations that this function is performing on x? Multiplies by 2 and then adds 1, right? Put the lotion away. It's not lotion time. You know what's going to be sad is when you miss something on your quiz tomorrow because you were busy putting on lotion. That's just a sad story.
But my hands were dry. I couldn't write.
Oh, wow. You couldn't. Oh, wow.
That's
Wow.
how dry they were.
I cannot write when it's written.
All right. Stay with us, Michelle.
Why did you do this?
You ready? You ready? Are you sure? Melanie, stop, please. Thank you. Anna, the operations that this function does, 2x, right? It multiplies by 2 and then it adds 1. In that order, right? PEMDAS, right? What would be the opposite of multiplying by 2 and then adding 1? Tell me, Cyrus. In that order? Wait, if it's backwards, doesn't the order get switched too? So it would be subtracting by 1 and then dividing by 2. That would be the opposite. Let's check. AC, if I took and I plugged in an 8, what would I get?
Yeah.
17, thank you. Whew. Making me nervous there, AC. Do you guys agree with him that that would be 17?
Yeah.
Now what if I took my inverse function and I plugged in a 17? What should it be? Without doing any math, what should it be? 8. Is it? Because 17 minus 1 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Do you now know what inverse functions are? Okay. Yeah?
If we were to give us like f of x equals 2x plus 1, and it's going to tell us to find the inverse.
I am so glad you asked that.
What do you ask?
He asked basically, how do you find an inverse function? You ready? Here we go. Let's write out the steps over here, and let's do the work over here. Yeah. Yeah, this is easy. It doesn't take a lot. In fact, it's harder to write out the steps than it is to actually do it. Salud. Okay. First thing you do when you write it, write y instead of g of x. So that's going to look like this. Y equals 3x plus 7. That's the first thing you do. Okay? Because g of x is y, right? Y is a function of x, and that's just the name. Okay, step 2. This is not a math step. It's not math. It's not going to be equal to what it was before. This is not an algebra step. Switch x and y. It's not math. This is not a math step. We now have changed what it's equal to. Step 1 and step 2 are no longer equal. These two things are not equal to one another. We're finding a different function. It does everything backwards, so what we're doing by switching them is we're going to make everything backwards. Step 3, solve for y. I'm going to just go ahead and do it. That's it right there. And if you wanted to, for step 4, you could rename. Yes, Sam? I can't really hear you.
Why do some functions have a g and others have?
They're just names. Yeah, the letters F, G, K, H, whatever, they're just names. Yes, Michelle.
Why did you have to switch X and Y? Did you could just
Wait, what?
Why did you have to switch X and Y?
Right here?
Yeah, because you could have done it without switching.
Because this switches everything. Inverse operations, everything's backwards. So this switches the relationship between X and Y, and now you solve for this Y right here, and you find your inverse. Yes, Lauren. X minus 7, if you wanted. Yes, sir? Welcome.
Couldn't you just like solve that?
Can you solve? Did you get hungry right in the middle of that question? Did you hear him? Because like what happened? Why he like mumbled is he like started eating his thumb. Could you just like that? Let's try this thing the whole sentence all the way through without that little snack in the middle. What do you got?
Couldn't you just solve that in your head, like how you just thought of?
Sure, but sometimes it's tricky. So actually, Isaac asked a really good question. I'm really glad he asked it. He's like, couldn't you just figure this, the inverse of this in your head, kind of like we did with this one right here? And yes, absolutely. But what if it was too difficult to do in your head? Then you would need these steps. Yeah. Who else has a question? Nobody's got a question? Okay. Practice time. Listo? Let's use these letters. Wake up, Miguel. Both of you. Oh, yeah. There we go. Here's what I want you to do. So, for all of this, it's evaluate. H.
Left.
Yep. And let's try one more just for fun. I would do D last. Do D last because it's going to take the longest. Do you get the impression you're going to have to graph quadratics tomorrow? Yeah. Yes, Manny. This is right now. This is practice right now. Shouldn't take more than 5 minutes except for part D. So let's do A, B, C, and E. Whoa, that's a good yawn right there. Whoa, another one. That was pretty wimpy though, Manny. You done, Manny? No. What's your question? Am I what?
Are you questioning my yawning skills?
Oh no, no sir. No sir.
Okay,
that K?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's weird. That's really weird.
You subtracted 2x from 4x and put negative 2x.
There, better. I was freaking out because it was like the same as this, and I'm like, I mean, it could happen, sure, but that would have been strange. You're not done, just keep working.
Do you have to put the HG?
Well, I put it there because that's what it equals.
Alright. What we put down instead?
You're just going to write the, it'll give you a place for your answer, and it'll usually say it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Miss Gubar. What's up?
Testing?
No, we're practicing.
Oh man,
These guys are serious.
I can see. I thought you were testing. That's why I didn't know what the
Oh, yeah. No, we're practicing.
Oh, dang. Can I have some? Is this Cambridge?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well. That's why.
Yeah. They got a quiz tomorrow. This is new. They're nervous. Hello, ma'am.
Oh man, he's even got manners.
He does. He's a good kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have good kids.
Yeah.
No, they're teenagers. They're all bad. You having fun there? Is he making you add the alphabet?
Yep.
Oh,
That's how we roll.
that's how you roll.
That's right.
Ladies in the struggle.
It is.
Nobody told me that.
The beauty's in the struggle, not the outcome. It's true. At least I believe it's true.
I destroyed your.
No, they're done. Now they're checking. Bye, Miss Gubar. What for? In part A? You see that's minus 4 plus 4. Those make 0. You have a 4 right here. From that.
You did E. Where did the 7 come from?
G of 5 is 7. Because if you plug 5 in for G, you get 7. Yeah.